So Human Tune-Up Clinic is basically a comprehensive way of approaching wellness, and that basically means addressing the underlying cause of whether it be unbalanced state or disease state. So basically we are able to guide our clients to accomplish a sustained result by applying preventive initiatives, behavioral changes, and encouraging a psychological and spiritual growth with the ultimate goal to stimulate the ability to heal self. Today we're just going to basically address the principles of wellness, the most basic part. As a disclaimer, this is just for those who don't know where to start and just want to start learning about wellness. In this course, we will be addressing 3 categories of the wellness pillars: the psychological aspect, nutrition, and physical movement. So let's dive in a little bit about the psychological aspect, which is basically analyzing the cause of our current state of being. What is preventing us from going to where we want to be, and how can we achieve it? So for that, wellness coach comes quite handy, because that is the part where you get the guidance, the support, and accountability partner, if you will. Now, nutrition, basically the critical part of that is identifying what foods actually give you energy, nourishes you, and what foods actually give you, not make you feel well or take energy and predispose you to diseased state. In regards to physical movement, it is actually critical, and it directly or indirectly is associated with mobility and mortality. So let's dive a little bit into the psychological aspect of wellness. First of all, how do we develop habits, right? So I want to touch upon about 3 components that contributes toward that. But specifically, we want to address the what, the why, and the how we develop our relationship with food or movement, or our perception of how life processes go. So, number 1, previous conditioning. What is previous conditioning? All the things you've been told, you've been taught, that your experiences, your mentors, ideology, whatever that may be, that you've kind of carried along and it's now become automatic. And when it is automatic, you may not understand why you're making it, but it is what has happened in the past that's showing up. Secondly, addressing the basic human needs. And according to Tony Robinson, who is a very well-known and effective coach, there are 6 human needs that are certainty, variety, significance, connection or love, growth, and contribution. According to him, that most of our behavior is driven by the need to satisfy these 6 basic needs. And some people may have more predisposition to kind of need more, 1 or 2 of the 6 needs. And lastly, this notion of assigning meaning to things. For example, when you're feeling down or sick, you want to get that comfort food, whatever that is. It can be mac and cheese, burger, so on. Also, creating this system, right? This belief system. For example, some people believe that if you do not have any animal product like meat, you have not had any meal. Or you will be deprived of protein, therefore you have deficiency. So then, what are the different aspects of life that influences these habits? Family, of course, and then work, stress, social experience, These are some of the few things that directly link to that. Then now we know what it is. What is holding us from achieving our desired state? This previous conditioning. Basically, let's understand that by age 7, our personality has already developed, right? So, and this is based on the condition which we interact with in our environment. Your childhood experience becomes almost like a blueprint for your life's processes as you get older. However, as we get older, we should evolve and move and grow. Secondly, fear. So some wise people would say fear is a false evidence appearing to be real. And with that, if you're making your decision on this notion, essentially it's an illusion. So you have to pay attention and pause and say, am I making this decision based on fear or intuition or something real? Can I get different result by doing the same thing, right? Okay, thirdly, perfectionism. So this is unfortunately a societal burden we have accepted. Again, there's no one mold that we all can fit in. So we have to dissolve this notion. It is holding us back. Self-sabotage. I want to explain this by using this analogy, which is in literature, the author, specifically in fiction literature, the author uses 3 forms of conflict for the main character to solve, and that is man against nature, man against man, and man against self. Just as in fiction, in reality, that's really a lot of what we deal with. And the very last part, man against self, is that very thing that creates a blockage for our progress. And that is this chatter, the constant chatter in your head, like creating doubt, fear, shame. For example, you may be doing exactly what you need to do. You're doing your nutrition, your exercise, all of that, and making some progress, and all of a sudden that little noise starts saying, hey, listen, we've been doing great. You just need a break. It's okay to have a little dessert or so. And after all, this is not a real sustainable. You can't do this for life. So that is what is called self-sabotage. And it has multi-layer behind it. You may be trying to protect yourself. You may be trying to not have disturb the type of relationship and coexistence you have with somebody else. Lastly but not least, it can be pathological or a physiological response. So pathological, for example, may be hypothyroidism, where your thyroid level is low, leading you to gain weight, lose hair, dry skin, foggy, fatigued, and all of that contributes to not making any progress. As well as this, I want to address this thing that has been in the non-medical community, this adrenal fatigue, right? So yes, it is real. Let me explain it this way. So your body is designed to handle stress, and for that, it has this part of your brain that connects with this gland in the back of on top of your kidney, right? It's called adrenal, to secrete cortisol. So this chemical, if you will, then goes and creates a whole system, like almost like a boost to allow you to overcome the stress. So of course, unfortunately, again, with our society, that we are constantly under stress, whether it be mentally, physically, emotionally, and with that, it is constantly on, which then inevitably kind of burn out, if you will. Of course, it's much more complicated from a scientific point of view, but that's what happened. So then the question is, how can we create new healthy habits, right? First and foremost, reflect. Look back into your past with great honesty, no judgment, just curiosity. What conditions, associations, beliefs can I identify that might be playing a part and holding me back? That's the very first thing. Secondly, our subconscious mind is actually a very powerful dimension of our being, and that now scientists are catching up, but however, some gurus or yogis have known for thousands of years that our subconscious mind is processing millions of information per minute, and basically data in from your past, your environment, and gets crunched and becomes a conclusion, and you're kind of making decision upon that. So it is critical, so critical, what you expose yourself to, whether it be media, people, energy, because that is contributing to your overall understanding and processes of life. There's one powerful tool that I use, but you can do it many other ways to help you like slow down or stop that chatter which comes with the subconscious mind, and that is meditation. Meditation, again, has been an effective tool used in the Eastern society for thousands of years, but it's relatively new for us in the Western world. What I can tell you may be similar, and to that, it may be prayer. Maybe something you're really passionate about, like art or sports, that really zooms you out of this world and this chatter, and you're just focusing onto that thing, right? So, however, meditation is a lot more than that. So meditation is where you go even beyond just focusing on one thing. Is maybe focusing on that thing or all thing that is unity of all things. So that is a whole different category. Next thing you have to do is let go of the past conditionings now you've identified that are no longer serving you. And that, I would say, is one of the most difficult lessons I had to learn. However, it's the most liberating once you pass that little challenge. So when you let go, then it opens up this whole new possibilities. My favorite saying from a spiritual leader, Michael Beckwith, is open up to the unlimited potential and possibility that is which yet to have been known. So it's almost like a new beginning. At this point, then you have to take action, right? So how does that look in real time? You have to do things that are uncomfortable, right? Following that, you have to have a heart of gratitude. Be aware and acknowledge your achievement, no matter how small they are, because our minds have a tendency to grab onto that one little thing that is actually not working out to our favor, but like all these hundreds of things that are happening, we tend to ignore. So the heart of gratitude and acknowledgement help you with that. I would recommend or tell you to do this, I call the Oprah challenge, which is, she says, write 5 things that you are grateful for every day. And I recommend you do it in the morning before you start everything. That way, you will start your day well. Let's move on to nutrition, right? We've identified what we need to do mentally. Nutrition, feeding our body. Why is it important to consume healthy, quality food? The statement, you are what you eat, is very true and literal. So, to put it in perspective, some part of your body is constantly being broken down and rebuilt. For example, red blood cell, that is part of the blood that carries oxygen to all parts of your body. And oxygen, let me describe it as, or give you an analogy as, like money to nowadays society, right? In order to thrive, you have to have money. In order for any part of your body to exist, the cells